Welcome to Key Factors Podcast, where knowledge meets ambition in the fast-paced world of real estate and mortgage. I'm your host, Mark Jones, bringing you the latest insight, trends, and expert advice to navigate this dynamic property market. In each episode, we dive deep into the heart of the industry, dissecting market movement, exploring investment strategies, and unlocking the secret to real estate success. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an aspiring investor, or simply looking to stay ahead of the curve, this is the ultimate guide to making informed decisions in the world of property and real estate. So grab a seat and let's uncover the key factors that make all the difference. Welcome to Key Factors Podcast. Let the journey begin. Welcome back to another episode of Key Factors Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jones, and we are powered by ReviewMyMortgage.com, the largest index of mortgage programs in the nation. And today I've brought along a friend near and dear to my heart, one of the first agents that gave me a shot in this industry. This is his second time on a podcast, not necessarily the same name. Back when I had Millennial Market Talk, he was one of my guests and did fantastic. So I invited him back so that we could catch up. And without further ado, I will give you Austin Pantuso. What's up, Austin?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Scoot closer to that mic so we can hear you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Look at you all in red, too.
I'm in red for Valentine's
You
Day.
look cute.
I'll tell you, I love you too, man.
Yeah, man. It's been too long.
Thank you for inviting me out, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone else.
Absolutely. So we've got Austin, who is the broker, and just recently switched names, branding, the whole nine yards. Now, mind you, he was still previous co-owner of the previous U.S. Realty Pros. But Austin, if you could tell us or tell the listeners about yourself, number one, kind of how you got in the business, what you're doing today, and where it's going, you know?
Okay, so let's talk. First of all, I got to correct you. So I'm an associate broker.
Pull that thing.
I'm an associate
by
broker.
you. Okay, perfect.
So and my father is the principal broker.
Perfect.
Which you know my father, Mike.
Oh yeah.
So he is the principal broker. So I'm the president of the company. He's the vice president, and then we have another vice president named JD Wintermark, a very smart guy. Our director of business development. He handles pretty much everything. He's amazing. So we got a trio, and then his wife helps as well. So we got a really good team. And then on top of that, we have incredible agents with us. We're up to about 40. Yeah, I hear you turning me up. There we go.
There you
Sounds
go.
good. So we're up to about 40. Okay.
Austin brought his low voice today.
Yeah, my voice is really low. I usually don't do this very much.
How you doing? Keep going. Sorry.
So we're up to about 40. We have newer agents, and then we have seasoned agents. Some agents that have been in the business for 15 years plus that have been with us for a very long time. They're really good at what they do, and we're very blessed to have all of them, every single one of them. So we're starting this new business called United Realty Group of Texas. Boom. Our sister company is out of Florida, and they're United Realty Group, period. But
very cool.
With Florida, right? And then they have another location in North Carolina that they opened like last year.
Okay.
So they are one of the biggest brokerages in Florida. I think they're like currently number 2 right now. So bigger than a lot of the big box brokerages. They have like 6,000 agents. So, and somewhere along the lines of 25 locations, and they're mainly in Tri-County area, but they go kind of North State, East Coast.
Okay.
So they're big. They're a one-stop shop. They do it all. They have title, they have mortgage.
Right.
None of the agents are forced to use any of that stuff. They're welcome to use anything they want, but they offer it. It's there, right? So, and we'll be doing the same thing here too. We are about 3 weeks out from opening up.
Very cool.
So the office is, it's been a process. You know, something that
it always is, though.
Something that you've done.
Yeah,
a couple
definitely.
times,
And it's just, it's very gratifying. I will tell you that it is exhausting mentally and physically. And it's just one of those things that when you get to the end of what is the end of that process, it's realistically the beginning of what is to come.
Sure.
So it's like you get to see all of the fruits of your labor now shining and ready to be displayed and unveiled to everybody else. But that's kind of when everything just begins.
Well, and I remember when you moved to this one you got up quick.
Yeah,
like,
we had to, man.
Yeah, you got it up
definitely
fast,
had
and
to.
it looks amazing.
Shout out to Man Mortgage for helping us with that process. Absolutely, yeah. Their onboarding team is fantastic. So going through something like that, moving a big branch, production, previous customers, all of that stuff. Honestly, I felt like it was plug and play.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
So,
and like, I want to talk about me, and we can, we'll get there.
This is all about you, boo.
Like I said, I do this often, but I want a testament to you, man, because like when I remember you reached out to me, like I said last time when I did this, and you said, hey, give me a shot at mortgage. And I just, I'm blunt. I say, I'll give you one shot.
Yeah.
If you mess it up, then we're done.
That's
right.
it.
So, and you did great. And we were friends.
13 years ago was that deal.
It's about
wow.
right. Yeah. So a long time. And now look at you now. I mean, you're rocking it.
And we haven't aged a bit.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah,
not
right.
me.
Not you for sure, man. Okay. So, now that you are opening the new location, what was that going through that process of that? I mean, I finding the property, I can imagine that you guys are going to own the commercial property, right?
No, we rent.
You're going to rent?
Yeah, and that's the majority of businesses.
Okay.
You rent. I mean, if you
Same
can own
here.
it, obviously better.
For sure.
But you rent, right? And, I've been doing this, I'm going on 18 years now, doing it for a pretty long time. My dad's going on 42.
Yeah.
So, and I can tell you, it's just like I'm not extremely well versed in commercial. Of course, I've done commercial in the past, but I'm not extremely well versed in commercial. It's mainly been residential, right? So there were some new steps. Like, I mean, leases are pretty simple, right? But permitting and everything else that's involved with, getting things done so that you can do your build out. It's a process. Like, there's a lot that has to be done, and a lot of it just depends on the inspector. What inspector comes out, and if they like you.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right, so,
in addition to the inspector for the county, I mean, there's so much that goes into that. But we'll get into commercial real estate a little bit later in this episode, because there's some things that I wanted to discuss that we just talked about, JJ and Andy, on the previous episode. But I want to give the listeners a little bit more perspective of you, your process in getting into real estate, the journey, and you don't necessarily have to sum it up, but I want people to know why the hell they should be listening to you as we move forward in this discussion,
Okay.
And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Austin is not the best at tooting his own horn, so I'm giving him permission to toot away.
Okay. So, and
just
again,
don't stink up my podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't ever want to be arrogant, but even
never.
I tell our agents this. So if you would have known me from 18 to 21 years old, I wasn't very productive or motivated to do anything. And then I had some negative things happen in my life that really kicked my butt into gear, including my dad kicking me out of the house. Right. So that really kicked my butt into gear, because I was just really just being a leech and just sitting there, right, doing nothing. So, and I was waiting tables.
But you also at that time didn't know any better. I mean, it's not like you went to college with all the other kids that were seeing, okay, this is a path that I can take. I mean, your dad was in real estate for many years, created a great life for you guys. And I know you got to soak in a lot of that, but it wasn't time for you to start paying your own bills, buying your own things, building your own wealth, I
mean, so I did go to college, but I didn't complete college.
Sure,
right?
same here.
So like I didn't complete it. And that's like a big misconception today. Like, you have to have college to do well, right? And I think people are starting to figure that out, that you don't. You don't have to have college to do well. It's still a great thing to have. It's great to have a degree, and it's great to go into a field. So I don't want to knock it. Like, go to college, right? Obviously, but you don't have to have it. Right. So, so anyways, like, again, I was not doing the right things. He said, either you're going to do the right things, and I was waiting tables. I mean, I wasn't doing, but I just wasn't serious. He said, either you're going to do the right things or I'm going to kick you out. And I was like, no, you're not. And then he was like, yeah, I am. So then he kicked me out. Right.
Watch this.
So that's what happened. So, and then I had some other bad things happen, but if those bad things didn't happen, then I would have just still been exactly where I was at before. Yeah. And that is probably one of the best things that I can tell people. Yeah, bad things happen in your life, but that's what shapes and molds you into the person that you are. Right. Yeah. So, and it's either going to go one of two ways, right? If that happens, either you're going to curl up in a ball and cry about it and go south, or you're going to say, I'm going to come back 10 times stronger than I did when I got beat down, and you come back, right?
Yeah.
So you're
and that definitely, in my opinion, is a choice. And I love that you articulated that for our listeners. It is a choice. Every time it is a choice. Feelings, emotions, all of the different forces that are at hand, it still boils down to that choice of whether you want to go left or right.
Sure.
We gave a presentation yesterday about overcoming objections in today's market. I don't have money for down payment. I'm waiting for rates to come down. Now's not a good time. Et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the presentation, the presenter played a video by Jocko. You ever heard Jocko?
No.
Okay, so he's got a podcast, but definitely known for his tenacity in military service and things of that nature. He's just a straight up badass. But his message in this video was bad things happen. His response, good.
Yeah.
To everything. And why? Because it means that you're still here. It means that you still have opportunity to go out and change it. I mean, he says things like, you didn't get that promotion at work. Good. You can now go and work harder for it. You didn't get the house that you wanted to put an offer on. Good. Now you understand what it's like to jump when it's time to jump.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To every kind of rebuttal, it's good. You get to learn from that because other people maybe hadn't taken it that far or gone down that road and experienced that failure that you're talking about. That allows them to muster up whatever it takes to go one way or another.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And the way I look at it too, and I even tell like my clients and when I'm working and even friends and family. So when stuff like that happens, I'm a firm believer that whether you call it God, a higher power, whatever it may be, someone is looking out for you, and it may not have been the best situation for you or the best path. So you're being directed to a different path, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you didn't get that house. Maybe it's going to have foundation issues. Maybe you're going to have major plumbing leaks in it.
Yeah. Who
you
knows?
have to make huge insurance
Right.
claims. I mean, who knows, right? So you just got to be a firm believer that what happens is hopefully, for your best interest.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's, even if it might seem bad at the time, later down the line, a lot of times it gets you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
So that's the way I put it.
But keep going on your journey. So go ahead.
So then, I didn't want to do real estate, right? So I wanted to do like psychology or be like a pilot or something, right? So something
cool.
Right? I didn't want to do what my dad was doing. And yes, my dad did real estate for a long time, but he didn't do extremely well at the start. He did well when he was in the new build business, right? So, and he worked for D.R. Horton for like 10 years. So he did really well because that was during the boom time, right?
Right.
So, and real estate is really cyclical, right? And it's like it's about timing too. So sometimes you just get lucky.
Yeah.
Right. And when you end up buying properties, sometimes you're buying at a low time, and then you saw what happened like the last 3 years, especially during COVID time. Like we had a massive spike and people did incredible. I'll tell this story real quick.
Please.
But I helped someone gain their most equity gain that I've ever helped anyone gain, right? And it was just a coincidence. I mean, I didn't do it, right? We just sold their house at the right time. So this was in Round Rock because I do all of Texas, So this was in Round Rock, and they bought a nice like an upper end builder home for like $386, something like that, in 2021.
Okay.
And then we ended up selling 1 year later, February of 2022, no upgrades at all for $615.
Wow.
386 to 615.
Wow.
1 year.
Talk about the tax bill on that if you don't do a 1035 exchange.
They didn't do, or 1031.
1031 exchange.
1031,
yeah. 1035 is investments.
Yeah, 1031. So they didn't do, of course, they were just transferring to a new home is what they're doing. So they paid the capital gains, but no big deal, right? Because, I mean, they were making so much cash.
Now, question. Do you believe had they had waited one more year, because after you hold it for 2 years as your primary residence, you then get to avoid X amount of... They would have lost money. That's exactly what I was asking.
They would have lost money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that market in that area went down a bit.
Yeah. I sold their neighbor's house just like 4 months ago. Okay. And it sold for almost $100K less.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah. So that just lets you know like a year and a half difference.
And is that because the community had not been built out just yet?
No, just the market.
Really?
So this is Round Rock. This is Austin, right? You had some of the highest influxes in the nation, and then some of the highest downturn in the nation, right? So, I mean, it was insane over there. So the home still sold fast, right? The market's still strong, but we're talking for much, much less. They sold like at the peak.
And I think that's the important piece here is a lot of folks believe our market is going to crash simply because there was a fluctuation like that when the person caught it at the right time. They bought it at the right time and sold it at the right time. And that right time didn't dictate to whether property values were going to spike or plummet. It just ended the cycle of those low interest rates, the cash offers that were flooding into Austin, driving prices up by hundreds of thousands of dollars above the appraised value.
What happened?
Yeah. So I love that you shared that story, but I want people to know that you're not saying it because there's a crash coming. You're showing them how they were able to put their hat in the ring at the right time and pull it out at the right time as well.
So, I mean, in general, it's a cliche saying no one has a crystal ball. No one knows when the peak is, and no one knows if the market's like truly going to crash. Of course, there's telltale signs. Right? Of course. You're Michael Burry or something.
Yeah.
So, but in general, right? So,
it's a smart son of a gun.
People don't generally know, right? So, and you can just do your best to make good, educated decisions with the information that you have, and that's all you can really do.
Right.
And consult people who are experts in the field, to guide you and to lead you. And again, they still don't know. No one truly knows.
And that reminds me of something, and I'm going to mention. I'm writing it down now.
Okay.
So that we can talk about it later.
Let's keep going into that. Well, so I know you want me to continue going on my story, but so I got into real estate. I did. I still wasn't very serious. Right. Then I had more bad stuff happen. And then I got really serious. Right. And I said, I'm going to show these people that don't think I'm serious that I'm serious. Right. And eventually was to kind of like out of spite, like, let me show them that I can do what they say I can't do. And then a year after, I didn't think about them. So it just became almost like a habit.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm a firm believer, and I tell everyone this, and I tell even our agents this, it's not about you. And it's not about the commission. It's about the clients. Right?
Always.
It's always about the clients.
I think you and I have always seen eye to eye to that, on why we are doing what we're doing. Did we initially get in because of the money? Absolutely. We had to. We had to make some money to do things. But quickly we realized, holy cow, the more people I help, the more money I make. So let's stop worrying about the money and focus on the people.
So, okay, I have to tell you. So, well, I say two things to my clients. I say, if you're working with someone that makes it about them, you're working with the wrong person, whether it's the mortgage, loan officer, your agent, the title company. I don't care who it is. Right. It's not about them, the sellers or the buyers, depending on who you're representing. It's about you. This is your life, your money, your family, your investment, your future. Absolutely. That's what I tell them. Right. So, and what a lot of real estate agents don't understand is that you're helping someone make the biggest financial decision or purchase that they've ever made in their entire life. Most people, even later down the line, because most people move up, they buy more expensive unless you're, downsizing, right? So when you're older or you're empty nesters, you're making the biggest financial decision that you made in your life. And a lot of people don't realize how serious it is. People get into real estate thinking, I'm just going to make a quick buck, right? And I'm just going to, go do my thing and not really consider the client. And you will never be truly successful that way. It'll work for a while, but people aren't dumb. Yeah. They know. And especially if you're considering the commission or thinking about the commission, they know. Absolutely. Right. So, I was blessed enough at the start where I was living with my grandma, so I didn't have to, really think about money, and my bills were really low. Sure. Right. So, and I tell our agents this now too, is that it's a lot harder when you have to worry about rent or feeding your kids or whatever next month to not think about the commission. Sure. Right. It's not, but again, they know. So the more that you can not think about that, and I mean, that's why we're in our NAR, right? We'll get to that situation, but not think about that and really just focus on the clients, the better off you'll be and the better you'll do. So, because it is all about them. So, and that's what I did. So that's my mantra. That's what I live by. And it comes, like you said, you don't have to do anything. It comes to you just automatically. If you just take care of people and you put good stuff out there, it comes back, whether you want to call it karma or whatever you want to call it. It comes back to you. So that's it. It's that simple, and you work hard and you're diligent. And another thing, you prepare people. If you prepare them, then they'll never be disappointed if you tell them what can happen.
Expectations are so crucial. Expectations and communication are the two things that in our profession, if you can do that honestly every single time, I believe you'll go further than most in the industry. Because for some odd reason, we as humans are scared to tell the truth when it's bad news. Hey, people respect others when they're telling them the news, regardless of whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. They want to be filled in because, like you said, it's the largest purchase that they're going to make, period. wouldn't you want them to be informed about these things? So I'm glad that you mentioned that as well.
And what can happen, right? So I tell people it's buying a home is like, or any piece of real estate, it's like running a marathon, right? So it's not done until they have your money and, the other party has your keys or, your deed or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So you have to wait until it's done because there's a lot that can happen in between then.
Oh, yeah.
And then you prepare them. It might not appraise, right? So they might go buy a car.
They might die. If
God
you
forbid,
don't give them those expectations, they might. And sometimes even if you do, they might.
Yeah. You want to move out. You want to go get a lease, 20 days before your home is sold.
Yeah.
That's at your risk. But I'm telling you, it might fall through. And then you're paying your mortgage and your lease.
Absolutely.
Right? So, as long as you prepare people and you let them know when that scenario does happen, which is pretty inevitable, it will with someone, right? Then they're like, at least he told me about this. So, and they're not going to hate you. So.
Well, that was a great summary of who you are, but I'll toot for you. Austin, in his 18 years in the business, has quickly become one of the top realtors in San Antonio and surrounding, to the point that he's rocking on shows and whatnot. So I'm happy to share that information. So let's, JC, throw that reference on the screen real quick so we can talk about this. The American Dream. Tell me about that without telling me too much.
So what this is, it's a lifestyle show. It's kind of what you see on, I don't want to say networks, but let's say bigger networks where they do, shows with $1 million listings,
right?
Whatever, right?
Right.
So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It's a lifestyle show that's a countrywide show that displays lifestyles in certain areas and with a little bit of real estate mixed in is
Very
what
cool.
it is. And this show, they interview a bunch of realtors and they select realtors or loan officers, right? Because they have loan officers on there too. And then sometimes just regular individuals that are professionals in certain fields, and they throw them on this show, and it airs on national television.
Okay.
And then it's also on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, on their app. It's a nice thing. It's a professional production type show, like something you would see on TV, because it is.
It is. So absolutely.
It is, yeah. So it's neat. So I just started doing that in December. I did my first episode in December, and then you'll see it air in March, more than likely, like at the beginning of March.
Sure.
So it'll be on national television and it'll air, and then you can also watch it on the app. But it was fun. It was neat. I'm not good at it yet, so I'm getting better at being a host.
I mean, we are also the toughest critics on ourselves.
You are.
So I'm sure you did fantastic. In the preview that you showed me, you look damn good in a suit.
Really
Did you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah.
It's like suit from here up, from down here. I got board shorts on.
That's exactly right.
I believe it.
Well, and that's why I tell people I'll go to $1 million listing in shorts and a t-shirt.
Absolutely.
Right. So, because I'm all about being real, and there is no flash, because that isn't me.
Yeah.
So and then hopefully you're going to listen to me and take my advice. And if you don't, it's okay. I want you to work with someone that you trust.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Matter of fact, let's talk about that for just a brief moment. The concept of, attire in our industry, in my opinion, and since COVID has changed a little bit, my take on it, I will tell you, I wear something like this every day. Why? Because I'm having Zoom calls with customers. We meet with very minimal customers in person these days. Sure. I wish it would come back, to be honest, but Zoom satisfies that appetite for now. But what I've noticed is that by me dressing this way, I'll even jump on the Zoom call with the hat flipped backwards, say a little joke. I wear many hats. Most of them are backwards, and they start laughing. The concept is you're trying to relate to your customer as best you possibly can, and 9 times out of 10, they look just like me right now.
Sure.
In their normal clothes. Why? Because most of them work from home these days. But even if they're not in the suit and tie like they used to be. What are your thoughts on that?
So you used to dress a lot more.
Always. You're exactly right.
A lot more. And I would say I never really did. Right?
That's right.
I've never really been like that. So, and do I want to say I'm being more real? It's just not me.
Right.
So that's why.
It feels uncomfortable.
I can dress up.
Sure.
It's not like it feels uncomfortable to dress that way. Like I feel sharp, but
right.
I will say there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to go that way in certain circumstances. And especially
you would be surprised.
Well, now it's a little different with COVID. It is a little different, but now that I'm the president of a company, right? I need to show up in better attire, right? It's also just respect too. So, but you'll notice, it is changing. It is getting different. It is, people do want to be able to relate to you. And, some people who dress up all the time are going to think this guy's putting in no effort and,
that's what I want to kind of squash.
And he's just lazy, right? So some people who dress up all the time, they might think that, and that's okay, right? But also it could go the other way too, where, like I said, people that don't dress up, they're thinking that, hey, this guy thinks he's better than me,
I'll take you a third, which is this person is trying too hard. Because essentially you're about to meet with your customer. If you do have customers on a Zoom call or in person, they're going to sit across from you looking like I look right now and see you in a suit. And honestly, I don't know. I don't even want to answer that question. Because back when I would wear a suit, I would have customers that would be like, why are you so dressed up?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
whoa.
Some people look really good though in dress clothes.
Sure.
And we have, especially like our younger agents, like they're trying to project an image, right? That I'm successful. They're trying to start their business. They're trying to brand, right? So I respect that. I do. They look a lot better than I do. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Same here these days. So I want to stay in the shadows and just meet with the customers and put the loans together.
So, people work with who they like. So, and who they connect with. Those it's like 50-50. So it just depends on, I wouldn't go to $1 million listing in shorts and a t-shirt if they were a cold lead. But if it's a warm referral and they already kind of have heard of it, then sure.
And it's funny that you say that, because chances are that customer that called $1 million listing is probably going to show up in board shorts and a t-shirt.
They very well might.
But you are correct. I do agree with that. Time and a place for everything, and feel out your customer. I mean, at the end of the day, be yourself. And that's the piece that I want to make sure people understand is be yourself. Don't put on this facade for this occasion and change for a different occasion that's similar, but people are going to look back and go, wait a minute. Where's your suit? Aren't you the guy that wears a suit?
I mean, you're right. You want to be real, right? And you want to be real. Consistent. You want to be consistent. So I had the chance to participate in representing a buyer on the biggest purchase that I've ever dealt with in Dallas last year. Okay. On acreage. And let's put it this way. It was over 15 million.
Wow.
On one house. Wow. Probably one of the biggest homes that sold.
How much land
Texas
was that?
On 3 acres.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And a very ritzy part of Dallas. Okay. So the home is incredible. It's in magazines. It's amazing. But I'm thinking, when I meet the buyer, who's an incredible guy, amazing. And his family is incredible. And so is his wife. But I'm thinking like, do I need to be dressed up? Right. So, and I really wasn't. I was like this.
Sure.
So, and I go in and the partner agent, which was from our sister company in Florida, they both show up. They're in shorts and a t-shirt, both of them, like to see the house for, the second time, like, just do the walkthrough. And I mean, there's normal people. Yeah. Even buying something like that, you would think, like they're going to roll up in, a Rolls Royce and a suit.
Sure.
Nah.
Yeah. I think relatability is at an all-time high, especially because we've been so compartmentalized. People are missing that interaction, and that interaction, you want to have it with somebody that's like you, so to speak, So anywho, moving on. That was just a random thought I had.
I have to say also the media and, overall everything that goes on these days pushes you to try and be like that.
Keep going.
Right? They do. They push you to try and be like that. Your own inspiring emperor.
Yes.
Right? So, yes. And I hate to say it, but I'm against that.
Same.
So I'm not for that at all. And it comes across a lot of times as arrogant. And, we live in a generation where it's all about show. And a lot of the times the people who show and flash the most are the people who are really not doing well.
I agree.
So, and that's the best way I can put it. And not in all circumstances, but
from what perspective that you're giving, I have to agree 100% with the idea that we already know that things are getting faster, the ease of access to information, tools, resources, things of that nature. But from what social media has created in a alternative mindset is this sense of entitlement and ease of access on another scale. It's like, I should have this job and I should make this amount of money and I only going to work this amount of hours and I'm going to work from home.
Yeah. And an influencer.
Who are you? And an influencer. Right. And I'm going to blog about it every single day.
That's what it must be. And again, like, I'm not saying everyone who flashes isn't doing well. Like, there's a lot of people who are, you know, that, and that's just their MO. That's just the way they do it. But I mean, I don't know. There's no substitute for hard work.
I agree.
So that's all I can say. That's at least what I've found.
Well,
there's no substitute for
what I can say is and I haven't talked about this on this show at all, which is the concept of being cocky versus confident and what that means to another person's view of you. There becomes a certain point, and I can only speak for myself with this. I definitely want your feedback, but there comes a certain point in time in somebody's career, life, etc., that they've gained enough experience that they themselves, without even knowing it to the outside world, speak with a sense of confidence. And many see it as cockiness when it's like, we can't go backwards with our experience. We can't go backwards with the way that we talk and the way we approach different things. But how difficult is it to tote that line? You know,
it's a fine line.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fine line. And in my opinion, it comes down to knowing your worth, right? Knowing your worth and setting boundaries and not being so cocky that you think I'm too good for this, because I treat someone who's buying $100,000 home just the same way that I would treat someone who's buying a $1 million home.
Yeah.
And I've had people where I'm representing multiple clients and the $1 million buyer says, like, you shouldn't have been, like, I should be getting better treatment. And then I have responded back to them, is that the way you treat your clients?
Ooh,
like, is
that's
that the way
good.
You do that?
Yeah.
Is that what you do to the people that you work with?
That's right.
And I don't care. I'll drop you in a heartbeat. It's everyone deserves the exact same treatment that, you know, I mean, that I would want, you know, if it were me, I would want someone to treat me that way. So I'm a firm believer, treat people the way you want to be treated. And that is the difference between being cocky and confident, is setting boundaries and knowing your worth and still being willing to help people no matter what their situation is.
Wouldn't that be amazing if we all adopted the one thing that our parents taught us growing up? I mean, that was like one of the first things, I don't know if it's because we're in Texas, but treat others the way you want to be treated.
I mean,
could you imagine everything that would be solved by just doing that?
I think in Texas, you get that more.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. You go up to New York and they pick you out of a crowd knowing that you're from Texas without you saying anything. They're like, well, you're too nice here.
Yeah,
like,
you get that Southern hospitality, but I don't think you can ever be too nice, you know, as long as you're not getting taken advantage of.
Right.
So,
right.
You know, that's the best way I can put it.
Good point. So we've got some topics up on the board. We've already talked about your star appearance on the network. I'm excited to see that. We've talked about the new brokerage that's almost complete. You guys are already operating under the name, correct?
We're operating under the name.
Yep.
We have, you know, it's going. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's going. Almost all of our agents have switched from US Realty Pro. So, and then we're about to start. You know, we haven't really focused a lot on recruiting, but we're about to start opening the doors for more agents to join. Cool. It's an incredible model because it's a flat fee brokerage.
Very cool.
That has such a bad taste for a lot of people. Like they associate flat fee with no help.
With little value. Correct.
Little value, right? Little value, no assistance, can't speak to my broker. I have no tools, right? So it's just like, go fend for yourself. It's an amazing model for an agent. I say, it sounds too good to be true, but it actually is. Usually things that sound too good to be true are, but this really is. And you get everything that a big box brokerage would offer you: workstations, closed offices, an actual office, a branding studio, printers, kitchen, coffee machine. I mean, everything you'd want: full broker support, full agent support, mentorship programs, everything that you would get from a big box brokerage, but for a flat fee, an extremely low flat fee.
It's almost like going to Costco in regards to real estate versus going the other route of EXP or Real, to where it's, in my opinion, you are paying a small fee or what have you, but there's this idea of let me go out and recruit other agents instead of focusing on real estate.
Sure. So let's talk about that. And
Sure.
I want to be really short and sweet about this because I don't want to offend any of those other brokerages. They're great models and they have their own system, right? So you're not going to get life insurance. You're not going to get rev share, right? You're not going to get, stock options, right? So things like that. So stock positions with our company. But the way that I look at it is that and this is by no means to offend anyone, but look at their stock from opening to now or peak to now, right? And you'll notice that if you would have just gotten that money and invested in something like Apple, right, or Nvidia or something else,
or in real estate, like what you actually do for a living,
you would have made a lot more money. So than feeding the machine of their stock. And you have to keep in mind the people who started the company, they have a big share of
smart cats,
and they're very smart, and it's an incredible business model for them and for people who get in early,
right?
So it really is. But in general, there could have been better investments, and hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
Some people don't know that and don't want to do that, and just getting the stock is good enough for them, and that's okay too.
Right.
So again, there are benefits to that, but if you can utilize the money in a way that you can be smart with it, there are ways to capitalize on it and make more money. So that's what we're about, is you put more money in your pocket, use it the way that you can really capitalize and multiply it in I don't want to say a better fashion, but potentially a more beneficial fashion where you're going to gain more.
Well, I like that premise of this, because instead of buying into this whole philosophy of we're going to create multiple streams of income with you recruiting or what have you, and we're going to shortchange the things that it really takes to do your job better, you're saying we're all about real estate. We're going to help you. We're going to give you the tools. We're going to put more money back in your pocket. No, there's not opportunities to become a multi-level marketing company, but that's okay. You didn't join a multi-level marketing company. You joined a real estate firm.
Sure. And we want pros. We want people who really know real estate. That's what we want. And because, like we talked about, you're helping someone with the biggest financial investment for most people that they made in their life. So if you don't know what you're doing, you might know how to go recruit other agents. That's great. But if you can't help your client, again, you're gonna be a disservice to them.
Yeah.
And that's the best way that I can put that. And in general, you'll notice if you know your stuff, because you got into real estate to do real estate.
Absolutely.
Not to go recruit other people. That's what most people did. Right? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. And there are all kinds of ways to make money in this business.
Absolutely.
Right? So you can do apartment locating, right? You can go do commercial rentals. You can do all kinds of stuff. So I don't want to knock it, because there are other ways to make money in this business. But if you got in real estate to do real estate and to really genuinely help people with real estate, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To really teach you everything that you need to know. And so you really know it. So, we get really deep into real estate, go over everything from contract to close to loans to everything you would possibly need to know so you can be at the top of your game. And
in addition to direct support from Austin Pantuso himself.
From me. And my dad and other seasoned agents.
Yes.
But again, it's so you can go rock and roll and be the best that you can be and be better. There's a saying in the business, 20% of the agents do 80% of the business. It's really like 90-10. And this is going to sound harsh, but most agents are not the best. They have a lot of room to grow, and a lot of them are new, and they will be great. And they're going to be, and there's so many agents that are better than me, and I'm still learning too. But you only have to be just a little bit better than
extraordinary is the little extra.
Yeah, it's that little extra. That's exactly right.
It's true.
To be the top, top agents in San Antonio or agent in San Antonio, you just have to be a little bit better than that 80%. So it's not that hard. It's just having the right tools and resources and guidance to get there.
Well put. Very well put. Okay, we've got about 15 minutes to cram some of this stuff in here. So we're going to spitfire some of these topics that we have here, starting with your thoughts on the NAR ruling. Before you came in here, or before we got mic'd up, you mentioned that they're going to appeal it. Appeal it 100%.
Yeah, it's going to take like 2 to 3 years to appeal.
For sure. And that's a process just like everything else. But what are your thoughts on the actual, number one, the ruling, and the validity of the actual suit.
So it's funny. You get this blasted out all the time, right? As an agent, you receive emails, like you hear about this all the time, but most agents still have no clue what it means or even what it is, right? So, and most people in real estate haven't even heard of this. Like they just brush it over, like most things, right? Like politics or anything else, because it's not important to them at that time.
Right.
And they don't really face the effects of it until later, right?
I agree.
So what they're trying to say is it's going to be like Australia, where there is no buyer's agent and yada, yada, and it's going to be the seller's agent kind of agency. But Texas doesn't have dual agency, so you would have to completely change the whole rules of Texas to conform with what they're trying to do,
right?
So, and in my opinion, I think there were some big players behind this move, right? That you know who I'm talking about, big websites, right? That try and funnel business to
lead generation
to them. And I say these major websites that I'm not going to mention, but know what I'm talking about. Go ahead and mention it.
We're talking about Zillow, Realtor.com, all of the above.
Yeah. So these websites, I explain this to our clients too, before.
And I'll hashtag it so hopefully they see this.
Before these companies, it's a love-hate relationship with these companies. And the reason why is because it puts resources at the consumer's fingertips. So it's nice, like they can send you a house and say, hey, I want to go look at this because they saw it online, right? So maybe something that you didn't send them through MLS, but MLS is our Bible, right? It's what us realtors have private access to see all the data, all the resources that we would need to help out a client, right? But now it's becoming, more readily available to a consumer, which is good and it's also bad. And here's the paradox of it. So us as agents, right? We as agents, we are the ones who are going out and meeting with the clients, doing all the paperwork, measuring the rooms, paying for the pictures, putting in every little bit of data that you see on those major websites, right? So we're doing all the work. Then those major websites pay our boards, which we also pay, right?
So syndication for it,
to syndicate out every about 15 minutes. So the boards are making more money, not only off of us, but off of those websites. So they're pimping us out. Okay.
That's basically correct.
That's exactly what's happening. And then they're in turn selling it back to us in the form of leads, our own hard work. Think about the paradox of that and how horrible that is, but how also great it can be because you can capitalize on it.
If used properly,
If used properly, you can make good money off of leads and help a lot of people, right? So it's just, the honest truth is it costs a lot of money for it to be anywhere near worth it. And when I say a lot, I'm talking usually like $10,000 a month, a lot.
Sure.
Okay. And most agents can't afford that. So most agents are getting screwed. That's the honest truth of it. Their hard work is getting sold out and they're not reaping the benefits of it.
Right.
And then in turn, they're also, that hard work is getting filtered to another agent that is paying for these leads instead of them getting it off their sign call or them seeing it on their website or whatever else. Right. So that is the unfortunate truth of how the current system works. And I'm probably, like I said, I might be going a long shot, but they were probably behind this lawsuit because they don't want agents to be on the buyer side. They want it all filtered to them because then they can filter it to who's paying them, right? With mortgage and with their agents, right?
Right. So that's actually a great point that you bring up. It all the dots just connected in my head while I was listening to you, because essentially if buyers representation goes away, or if it is affected, or I'll do you one better, if the seller no longer has to pay the buyer's commission, well, who's going to pay it? The buyer themselves. Well, if they don't have it, well, then who pays it next? So, big companies like Zillow that say, hey, use our agent, who is either salary or small fee, a commission off of something, but they're getting their money from Zillow, who is getting their money from NAR.
Sure. So,
wow.
And they're already showing that a lot of our MLSs are being purchased by corporations, right? So it's
absolutely,
it's just the corporatization of America that's already happening, right?
Yeah.
So in general, it's a shame. Most buyers, they can't even afford their down payment.
Correct.
They're not going to be able to afford to pay an agent, right? So when it comes to down payment and closing costs, it's just out of the cards. A lot of people can't afford it. Now, yes, you can ask for it. And do the sellers have to pay both buyer and seller commission? No, that's what the whole lawsuit's about, right? Because agents were telling them, yes, you do. Like, you're paying both. That's what you have to do. And that's not the case. You don't. But the other argument was, and I got to be really careful how I say this, do agents go towards listings that have more commission? And the answer is absolutely.
Yes, they do.
They do, right?
We've determined that on this show. Yeah. Thankfully, the guests that were on here were truthful about it. And you are correct.
They do. A lot of agents do that, which is not right? But again, you have to look at it in another aspect. This is the norm, right? This is what it's like having a painter come paint your house, and he's used to getting $1.25 a square foot, right, for painting your house. And then, now they're being told that they shouldn't be getting $1.25 a square foot for painting your house. They should be getting 75 cents. Right. So that's the norm that's been set for so long. When a painter gets a bid and, it's 75 cents, most of the time they're not going to take it. They're just going to go to the one that's paying $1.25 a square foot, right?
That's correct.
So it depends on how
that's just not regulated.
It's not regulated. So it depends on how you look at it, right? And the biggest misconception too is that people think that agents make all this money, right, by the time they're done with their commission. And most agents don't. By the time they're done paying board dues, MLS fees, pictures, advertising, broker splits, they're lucky to walk away with like 40, 50% of their commission, So if they're getting paid 3% on a deal, they're really only getting paid more like 1.5%. And then you have capital gain, or taxes. You have income tax with self-employment tax. Right. So you got another higher income tax bracket because you're self-employed, right? Which most agents are. So in general, people don't understand that. They think that agents are making the big bucks, and the average agent nationwide, it's something like 60,000 a year.
I think it's actually less than that. I think the average agent closes like 3 to 4 deals a year.
Yeah, it's next to nothing. In San Antonio, 40%, right around there, of realtors in San Antonio in the metro area sell one home a year or less.
Yeah,
one or less. So, and you don't survive off of that. They're stay-at-home moms. They're school teachers. They're doing other jobs, right? So. A lot of people, they just don't understand, and then they have to pay thousands of dollars each year just to keep their license up with CE courses and board and MLS. So, that's the biggest misconception. People think that you're just going to bank it in real estate, and no, you're giving away a lot of your money every transaction. So when they lower that down even more, then you're making even less. And that's what, in my opinion, they're trying to do, is to weed out realtors altogether, right? And a buyer, when they don't have representation, they're really being put at risk to get taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, by the seller's agent.
And I don't care if you are a teacher or an attorney, either one, you don't do real estate.
Yeah, exactly. You don't. So, you are. It's almost inevitable. You're going to get taken advantage of as a buyer when you don't have someone.
It's when.
It's when. Yeah, it may not be that one transaction, but it'll happen eventually. And there's another kind of catch-22 that goes in with that, is if the agent doesn't know what they're doing, like we were talking about some of these major companies, they may be dishing out agents, right? And they may get corporatized where you're using their agents. They may be so green, they don't know what they're doing, that you're still getting taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
Because they don't know what they're doing.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah,
and I think that is maybe what also led to this, is the abundance of agents not explaining it to their customers the right way. Because, for example, if one of your previous customers from years ago, because that's what it was, came back to you and said, man, you never told me that this was going to be the case. There's no way, and I could stake my house on it, that is true, because I know how you operate. I know how you talk to your customers. A meeting that takes most people, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, takes you an hour, because you go through the intricacies. You say, does that make sense? Do you understand? So I can move forward to the next piece in this journey, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. And I think you always have to use an analogy in situations so people can understand, because a lot of times they don't, or layman's terms, or whatever way you want to put it. But like that painter analogy, right, that can be applied to anyone. It would be like a teacher asked to go to school and make 2/3 of what they're making now. I mean, I don't want to say it's not okay. Like, if they're okay with it, then fine, right? But most people are just not going to be okay with it.
No, you're correct.
And if your client really wants to see that listing that's paying 1%, you should still take them.
Absolutely,
you still take them. You still go serve them.
Well, right? and I think people are missing the concept of that customer is the pot of wealth for you in the future, not just from that one customer purchasing or selling, but their referrals. We forget that this is a referral-based business, to where you're only as strong as the value that you provided to that previous customer, because they're going to tell their friends, their family, anybody that they come in contact with, especially in the next 60 days after they close, because that's all they talk about, who you are, or who you're not, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it is true. That's how you got to look at it. You're hopefully going to get referrals off of them because you took good care of them and you put them first. Right?
Absolutely.
So it doesn't mean that you just don't go take care of them because you're not getting paid the full amount. But what they're asking us to do is to not get paid anything and to pay to work.
Yeah.
And that is straight insanity.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sorry, I will never agree with that. I'll never say it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't care what show I'm on.
Yeah.
I will say that all the time. It puts not only the agent at risk, it puts the brokerage at risk, and they got families to feed and bills to pay. And asking someone to do that, if you're okay with that, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
No, I'm right there with you.
There's nothing I can ever say nothing will be said that would change my mind on that ever.
I don't disagree at all. You're running short on time and I want to get you out of here on time, but I also have a slew of things left to talk about.
Like 10 minutes.
Okay. And if we don't, what are your thoughts on coming back and doing a part 2 of this so that we can mush them together? We'll even wear different shirts, y'all.
I'll come back for you.
Okay. Because there's still quite a bit, and I'm loving this conversation. So last thing that we'll talk about before we let you hop out of here, let's go with home affordability is going to be a little bit longer of a conversation.
Let's go over new construction.
Let's do that.
Okay. So what I'm telling my clients right now, and this is going to suck for me to tell.
No. Tell the truth.
For you,
I already know
right?
what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
But
it's the truth.
It's the truth. And it's an unfortunate nature of the beast for someone like Mark, who does independent mortgages. That's not a builder tied mortgage, right? But this is a very rare time in history, at least in my 18 years of doing this, where in a lot of cases, it's actually cheaper to buy a new home than a pre-owned home. And when I say cheaper, I don't mean dollar-wise cheaper. I mean payment-wise cheaper.
Absolutely.
And what you're going to pay in interest cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And a good example is that someone with bad credit right now, right, or not the best credit, they're going to go buy a pre-owned home, let's say $200,000, right? Because that's what they can afford.
Correct.
And I'm sorry, out even in San Antonio area, $200,000 isn't going to get you too much. Right. It's going to have probably some issues. You know?
Right.
So depending on where you're at.
No,
right?
I don't disagree with that at all, actually.
You know, and you got to look at all these other factors that go into a new home. You have warranties, 1 year doorknob to doorknob, 2 years electrical plumbing, 10 years structural. It's more energy efficient. You're going to have less repairs, right? There's so many other benefits to a new home over a pre-owned if it's especially cheaper or the same price on payment, right? And the reason why I say cheaper or the payment is around the same is because these builders are offering insane incentives, interest rate buy downs, and closing cost coverage, right? So, and when I say insane, you have builders out there that if someone were to go buy a pre-owned, they're getting 7% because they're first-time home buyers with not good credit, but the builders are offering them 4.5 or 4.99, and their credit doesn't even matter. And then on top of that, they're covering their closing costs.
Correct.
Or they're giving them washer and dryer or fridge or blinds or whatever else with all that and the rate. So they can go get a $270,000 home for the same price as a $200,000 home for payment, right?
Yeah.
Same payment price.
You're correct.
And it just makes sense. And when you look at even the long run, you're still making money when you do a total interest, total mortgage calculator, because interest matters that much. Banks are rich for a reason. It's the interest. And if you know anything about mortgages, they're all front loaded.
Absolutely.
That's how they get your money, right?
That's right.
And this is another controversial topic that we can talk about. Okay. And this is what I tell everyone. But when you get a call from your servicer and they say, hey, we can lower your payment $100, rates drop. Let's refi, right? And this is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest cons in America right now.
For what you're about
one
to
of
say.
the biggest cons in America that this is not regulated and that people can just do this and they can call people and convince them to do this and con them into this, right? Without giving them the facts, okay? So say someone's been in their home for 8 years and they get a call from their lender and they had a higher rate. And we're not seeing this now because rates are low.
Right.
But this is going to happen in the future.
Go ahead.
Right? So they're in their home for 8 years and they're 22 years in on their 30-year note, right? Or so they have 22 years left, 8 years in, right? On their 30-year note. And the lender calls and they say, guess what? You know, Bob and Jane Smith, we could get your payment $100 lower and you can refinance to a lower rate, right? 0.5%.
But my rate's only going to go down a quarter. How do you do that, Austin?
Well, it's going to go down whatever, even half a percent,
But it's not about the rate.
So they're
Tell
thinking,
us what it's about.
They're thinking, damn, I'm gonna save $100 a month.
Yep.
This is awesome. This is awesome, right? And I'm gonna, $1,200 a year. My rate's lower. It's all green flags to them. But what they don't realize is they're resetting their term to a 30-year term, and they're actually paying more interest in the long run and losing money.
Absolutely.
Way more than $100 a month. And there's no regulations against this, and people get taken advantage of all the time.
Right.
All the time.
There are somewhat regulations for churning, but at the same time, that customer is not educating themselves enough in that subject to see the red flags, indicators, things that they should be looking at versus just that monthly payment. That in some cases, hey, does that help someone? Sure. If that's what you're hurting for, totally understand.
There you go.
But was that explained to you the right way? Do you realize by doing this is what it's going to take? Whereas somebody else that's experienced and a little bit more honest about what we do is show them, hey, this will lower your payment by stretching it out 30 years, but 15 years will save you money.
That's exactly right. And I'm glad you clarified, because it is called churning. That is the actual technical term, but he said it exactly right. It's that they're not educated. So yes, it might help someone if they are really hurting and paycheck to paycheck $100, but anyone who is sensible with finances, they're going to be like, I'm going to lose tens of thousands in the long run.
Correct.
Even if I save 100 now, it makes
what
no
does
sense.
That look like over time? Because I'm going to stay in this house for X amount of years. I mean, those are questions that should be asked, but they are not. And buckle up, folks, because we're going to head for a refinance boom in the next 2 years. I would imagine. I can't guarantee it, but the writing on the wall says that's what it seems to be shaping up for. Now, back to your story or concept of the new homes.
Yeah,
I love that. And what I want to add to that to help, not even to help, but to confirm.
Let me give stats before you talk.
Okay, I was actually going to talk about stats too. Go ahead.
Here's Saborn market stats, okay, because I'm all big on stats. And I love it. I go over it with the agents. But year over year for January, 40% increase in new home sales from January this year to January last year. Okay, 40%. And if I'm correct, existing homes are down 23%.
So in the last year was the highest volume of new home construction, new home sales since 2008.
True.
It was also the lowest year for pre-owned homes since 2008. Odd, but it makes sense because the inventory is limited. Now, I used to educate customers on the concept of if you're going to buy a new home, no problem at all. Because back in the day, man, you, Marcus, Andy, y'all were able to walk into the new home sales and say, hey, he's pre-qualified for with Mark. He's already repaired the credit, all that stuff. We're getting those incentives, period. And they would. Now they don't have to. And the reason why they don't have to is because what we just talked about now is a shortage in inventory. There's a ton of buyers sitting on the fence that need inventory in their price range. The builders are providing that to them. What I used to tell customers is, you realize that the builder is the one creating those comparables in the area that they're using to price this home. But nowadays, because of what has taken place, that education session or lesson doesn't deem as true or to shape out, because regardless of whether you stay in the home for 2 years like most people do or 8 years, that builder's probably going to still be building in that neighborhood because the inventory is low everywhere else. Whereas before, in my opinion, the true values of those homes don't come out until the first person or first couple of people that bought in that neighborhood sell in that neighborhood.
It's true.
But these days, with the shortage going on, and regardless of whether they're keeping the home price at a higher amount, they're still able to take that money that would have lowered your actual home price and move it over to the rate side to give you that benefit. I don't have any issues with that. That is actually a good thing for buyers. I want more buyers. I want more homeowners. I want more people that got to go through what I went through. I mean, there was no way in the world you'd ask me when I was younger where you'd be today, and I'd say, yeah, this is what it looks like. There's no way, So let's stop it there, and then we'll pick this sucker up to finish this interview off. So for the time being, and you have to come back because we haven't done our outros. We've got like a ton of different things to talk about here. I love it.
Make it 2 episodes.
We can.
Because we talk for a long time.
Well, but these are good conversations that I believe that people should be hearing and getting different perspectives on. It's been a while since you've been on here, and I respect your insight, truly. I mean, from somebody that I grew up with and taught me a lot about real estate and we taught each other about the real estate mortgage side of things.
Yeah, you did.
And now have the ability to educate others.
Sure.
That's a perfect storm, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I think going through our next up, it's going to be this long as well.
For sure.
You should, I would say, just make this
episode 1, episode 2.
Do another one.
Okay.
It's probably going to be this long.
Well, is there anything you want to tell people on episode 1? Part 1?
I don't know everything. I'm still learning, right? I just do the best I can and with the knowledge that I have, and not everything I say is right, but a lot of the stuff that I say is right.
There you go. Well,
that's the best way.
Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've gotten this far in the episode that once we complete it, we're on to the next one, and you guys hopefully get some insight out of this. So I won't even sound it off. We'll see you on the next piece of this in part 2.
And thank you for having me.
Of course.
And happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Welcome to Key Factors Podcast, where knowledge meets ambition in the fast-paced world of real estate and mortgage. I'm your host, Mark Jones, bringing you the latest insight, trends, and expert advice to navigate this dynamic property market. In each episode, we dive deep into the heart of the industry, dissecting market movement, exploring investment strategies, and unlocking the secret to real estate success. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an aspiring investor, or simply looking to stay ahead of the curve, this is the ultimate guide to making informed decisions in the world of property and real estate. So grab a seat and let's uncover the key factors that make all the difference. Welcome to Key Factors Podcast. Let the journey begin.